For nearly a decade, Stranger Things has built its work around friendship, love, and the battle between the light and the dark. But beneath the monsters, nostalgia, and neon lights lies one of the show's most emotionally layered relationships, the bond between Will Byers and Mike Wheeler. A bond that many believe has always been more than friendship. To understand Byler, you have to go back to the very start. The basement, the bikes, the boys who began it all. From episode 1, Stranger Things frames Mike and Will's relationship as uniquely close. When Will disappears, Mike's grief and determination are immediate. He leads the search, defends Will's name when others give up, and even insists the gate, it's how we're gonna find Will. That is love without condition. Compare this to how other characters react. Yes, everyone cares, but Mike's attachment, it feels different. He's fixated, driven, and emotionally distraught in a way that more than borders on love. Mike's mom will say his best friend, but the way Mike talks about him, we're closer than that, still carries the intensity of something deeper. The Duffers themselves have said that Mike's story begins and ends with Will. Even early camera work reflects this. The use of lingering shots of Mike looking out the window, alone, waiting for Will's return. From the very first frame, the show positions Will as Mike's emotional center. In a Variety interview, Schnapp said that the writers and showrunners have intentionally been pulling Will's feelings for Mike out of the past few seasons. He states clearly, now it's 100% clear that he is gay and he does love Mike. He has also voiced hope for a coming out scene in Stranger Things Season 5. If Byler doesn't happen, then I at least think a coming out party for Will is in order. Schnapp reflects that Will struggles with knowing if he'll be accepted or not, feeling like a mistake and like he does not belong. In my opinion, the biggest struggle is knowing in the pit of his stomach that Mike might not reciprocate the type of love that Will harbors for him. He chooses the crushing weight of silence over feeling the physical breaking of his heart, as he does not want to ruin the dynamic of their friendship. But I also think Will just doesn't want to entertain the idea of his love going unrequited. As someone who already had to face the strife of being gay in the 80s, his first love rejecting him could really mess him up more than just trying to move past it and keep Mike in his life as his best friend while secretly being in love with him. However, something tells me as the world is quite literally ending around them that Will would choose to speak from his heart. The same heart that he used to portray Mike in a painting. Playing Will has been personally meaningful for Schnapp. In interviews, he said that portraying Will helped him accept his own sexuality. Regardless of Byler happening, I think people should remember to take a step back and see what a positive influence Will and the Duffer brothers have been on Schnapp being so accepting of himself and his own sexuality, thus hopefully helping others watching the show do the same. Noah not only portrays these feelings as he has possibly gone through similar emotions in his actual life, but Will has been a warm rock for Noah, someone to relate to, someone to admire, possibly a source of strength for Noah whenever he was going through his own strife or battles with navigating sexuality. Part 2, The Distance, Seasons 2 and 3. After Will returns, their friendship is tested, but sometimes emotional distance reveals what words cannot. Season 2's emotional arc revolves around Will's trauma and Mike's devotion. Mike is one of the only one who truly never stops believing in Will. He sits beside his bed, holds his hand, and yells at the doctors, "He's not a lab rat." In the mind-flaying exorcism scene, Mike's desperation feels raw, almost romantic in subtext. He clutches Will, cries, begs him to fight. Noah Schnapp later said that he played Will's reaction as real love, not just friendship. Cinematically, the show reinforces this connection. The editing mirrors the intimacy of romantic pairings elsewhere in the show through slow zooms and soft lighting. Yes, I'm sure you guys have seen the videos that break down the lighting of Byler's scenes. The score shifts into Will's theme, an emotional motif that seems to be used exclusively during scenes of tenderness and pain between Will and Mike. The same theme that played when Mike was denying the fact that Will's body had been discovered at the lake, even though he's seeing it right before his own eyes. Then comes season 3. Season 3 is the season of denial and heartbreak. Mike begins dating 11, but his behavior towards Will changes dramatically. When Will shows up with a D&D campaign, Mike blows him off, saying, "It's not my fault you don't like girls." It's not just a childish insult, it's a line that hits harder once you realize what Will is actually feeling. He's heartbroken, he's confused, and angry, and not just because his best friend is growing up, but because Mike is leaving him behind. Mike then says, "It's not my fault you don't like girls." The camera cuts to Will's face, hurt, frustrated, holding back tears. He doesn't like girls, and Mike's words sting because they accidentally hit the truth. Later, when the party splits, Will's emotional breakdown in Castle Byers, destroying the fort that he built with Mike, is one of the show's most symbolically loaded scenes. It's quite literally the destruction of their childhood bond, and then metaphorically, the end of Will's hope that Mike might ever feel the same. Part 3. The Confession That Wasn't. Season 4. By season 4, the subtext becomes text. Will's feelings are no longer hinted, they're shown. The painting, the van, the scene, the tears, these are not subtle. Will paints a picture for Mike, claiming it's from 11, but it's his expression of love. He tells Mike he's the heart of the group and that Elle loves him for who he really is. In his explanation, Will attributes some of his emotional lines to 11. Elle loves you, you're the heart. Without the heart, we all fall apart. But subtextually, these are his own feelings for Mike. According to Schnapp, performing the scene was emotionally intense. It really solidified the truth that he loves his best friend, and he does not know how to tell him. As Mike beams with relief, Will turns to the window and quietly breaks down in tears. But what makes the scene so powerful is Jonathan's reaction. The moment Will starts crying, he looks at him through the rearview mirror, concerned, sensing something unspoken, but unable to process it. Part of Will's lines in the van scene, "When you're different, sometimes you feel like a mistake." That line is a recurring theme in his arc, as it not only highlights the insecurity of his sexuality, but also the insecurity of being different in the sense that nobody else has truly experienced the horrors of the upside down like Will has. Schnapp actually frames that moment as being tied to Will's multifaceted trauma. Beyond just coming out, Will feels alienated because of his past, kidnapping, the upside down, not always being acknowledged. Mike's arc in season 4 revolves around not knowing how to express love. He can't say "I love you" to 11 until prompted. But notice how differently he speaks when talking about Will. Confident, passionate, poetic even. This, right here, is some of the strongest emotional evidence that I've pondered so far when thinking about Byler. My only defense is that you do feel more confident at times when talking to a friend about love rather than the person that you're directly in love with, as there can be a lot of emotionally charged weight or baggage. Even with that said, it is very interesting how Mike's emotional insight seems to sharpen when he's with or speaking to Will. Mike's words to 11 are borrowed from Will's heart. Will is confessing his own feelings to Mike through disguised words, pretending that it's all about Elle. Thus, Mike accepts a plea of love meant for him and Will, but he just sees it as a plea of love between himself and 11, leaving Will to ponder out the window. The cinematic parallels reinforce it. Both Will and Eleven are tied to the heart symbol in the show. The painting literally features Mike leading the group, a dragon, a metaphor for Vecna, attacking, and Will looking up at him with admiration. Sure, Mike may be defending the group, but it's Will's admiration of Mike tied together with his confession that makes this all the more powerful, whether it's concrete evidence or not. Sure, Mike may be defending the group, but it's Will's admiration of Mike tied together with his confession that makes this all the more powerful, whether it's concrete evidence or not. Part 4, the Duffers and the cast. Sometimes what's said outside the show can be just as revealing as what's inside. The Duffer brothers have said that season 5 will tie back to season 1 in full circle. Since season 1 began with Mike and Will's friendship as the core emotional thread, many believe it will end there too. In 2022, Noah Schnapp confirmed Will's arc is really just about his identity and his love for his friends, especially Mike. Finn Wolfhard, who plays Mike, added that the story will resolve everything that's been building since day one. David Harbour teased that the ending will make fans rethink everything from the first season. And if that first season revolved around Mike's love for Will, maybe that's the point. Even the show's editing choices seem intentional. Season 4 intercuts Will's crying scene with Mike's declaration of love to Elle, making it visually and emotionally clear that Will's words inspired Mike's confession. This editing technique, called cross-parallel emotional juxtaposition, is typically used to link two scenes thematically, implying deeper connection. Yes, we know it's somewhat of a love triangle, but the characters don't. Will is still waiting for Mike to come around, and again, Mike has not had a second to breathe and really consider his feelings altogether. I mean, since the day he met Elle, their lives have been consumed by chaos, not allowing much room for Mike to step back and consciously consider his life and feelings that he may have for Will. I speak about this and similar themes in my first video on Byler, so feel free to check out part 1 before continuing. Part 5, the Endgame. What season 5 hints at. So, where does all of this lead? Season 5 will bring the story home to Hawkins, where it all began, and according to the Duffer's statements, Will's connection to Vecna and his heart will play a central role. He is said to be haunted by memories, and this season's emotional climax will involve truths finally spoken. Mike and Will speculatively share multiple core emotional scenes, continuing their parallel arcs of denial and revelation. Even the season 5 teaser description emphasizes Will's perspective, returning to the site of his trauma, confronting what he's buried. If Stranger Things began with Mike trying to find Will, maybe it ends with him finally understanding him. Byler is not just a ship, it helps make up the emotional spine of Stranger Things. A story about love unspoken, connection misunderstood, and growing up different in a world that doesn't always see you. Whether or not it becomes canon, the evidence is almost undeniable. The cinematography, dialogue, symbolism, and performances all orbit around the same gravity. Every season, their bond deepens, and every denial brings them closer to the truth. Hell, even wardrobe symbolism supports Byler. Mike and Will often mirror each other's color palettes. Blue and yellow, repeatedly used as a visual motif for their connection, known as the Byler colors. Eleven's colors, meanwhile, shift toward red and black, signaling emotional distance. And that's just a thought. We're getting a bit deep there. Before we wrap up today's discussion, I did want to share some more feedback from Reddit concerning Byler and speculating on the likelihood of it happening in season 5. My personal opinion on whether Byler will and should happen has been made clear in my previous video, and this comment sufficiently sums it up. I would be okay with Byler if Mike was single. Ella and Mike went through so much together. Even though they had their problems, they're still there for each other, and I would hate if the showrunners decided to break them up. So I'm rooting for him, and I don't see Byler happening when we have a couple that's been developing since season 1. Do you think that the Duffer brothers should have made the move earlier? Perhaps in season 3? Would it be a lazy ending to a beautiful character dynamic, or be the cherry on top of a much deserved ship sailing some pretty turbulent waters? Oh, and Byler haters, and to all of you homophobes, here you go. Ooh, and here you go. And do we have time for one? Ooh, yeah, here you go. Alright. We won't know the trajectory of the characters' hearts until season 5, but to be quite honest, either way, I'm just happy communities have been able to rejoice in the moments that have brought us personal joy, whether it's been Team Malevolent or Team Byler, or Team I really don't care, I just think Stranger Things is pretty fucking sweet. Since my last visit in the Byler and Stranger Things subreddits, it's been nice to see people theorizing without the hate, for the most part, but honestly debating and stating what they would like to see as this beautiful show wraps up its final moments. I do realize the chance of Byler may not be as high as Byler fans would like, but I shall end the video and leave you with this promising piece of Byler wisdom. Come close, gather around, my Byler shippers, lend me your ear and listen. In the end, Stranger Things has always been about finding your way home. And for Mike and Will, maybe home was never a place, but each other. Thank you for tuning in to DaytripTV. I really love and appreciate any support you guys give to me and the channel. I sincerely love my Strange fam. Again, I wish more videos got made. Life got in the way, but you better bet there's going to be plenty of videos heading as we're heading to season 5, and plenty of videos during the releases and many more after. I'm not going to milk Stranger Things, but I'm also not going to leave any rock unturned. So thank you guys so much again for tuning in to DaytripTV, and I will see you on the next one.